All right, my guys, welcome back. Good morning. It is 8:35. I just finished my morning steps. I got 14,000. I was walking around the track, so it was relatively easier, keeping a pretty good pace. But like my endurance and everything, and my work capacity is very high, so that wasn't much of a problem. Shooting for about 20K today, which will be pretty easy. And I want to make sure I'm kind of done with everything by like 2 o'clock, and then just be glued to the couch and be able to get to bed around 8:45 or 9 o'clock and get ready for my work week starting tomorrow because it is Sunday. So, what are the 4 exercises? Stiff leg lift with a pause, hamstring curls, lying hamstring curls, leg extensions, and leg press. These 4 really balanced. It's really important to have balanced leg development, both aesthetically and from a functionality standpoint, because if you have relatively more dominant quads and weak glutes and hamstrings, it's really easy to run into knee or hip problems. So, we're going to be starting with that posterior chain stuff, then in the quad second. I will do some abductors on this very girly, like standing abduction machine. 3 sets of that at the end, but I'm not going to like stress out about it, take it too seriously. It's not that hard. The way I do my leg press is also relatively more glute engagement with the pad under my hips. Increased range of motion. So we're going to do another fully eating. The meal plan is pretty set for the first 4 meals. The 5th meal, I allow myself some flexibility. Meal 1 will be chicken and potatoes with some sort of fat source, then some raspberries and strawberries with stevia, maybe a little honey. Meal number 2 will be my oatmeal plus cream of rice bowl. So actually mix the 2 together, cook them in skim milk in the microwave, with some banana, dark chocolate, and peanut butter, and protein powder. My highest calorie meal because I'm bicycling to the gym and back. Plus it's a leg day, and even if it wasn't a leg day, if it's an upper day, I'll generally pose afterwards. So I do want to have plenty of energy, not be getting hungry on the way home. Then chicken and potatoes for the next 2 meals with the berries again and a fat source. And then the 5th meal could be like a Ninja Creamy with some more potatoes, or it could be just more chicken and potatoes, or maybe still the salmon, maybe a Greek yogurt with peanut butter and protein powder and some fruit. I'm not really sure, haven't called it yet. Yeah, so I'm going to be probably changing my training to upper lower off, off. I had just started the push-pull legs off, upper lower off. The problem with that is I teach 6 and 7 classes on Wednesday and Thursday, and I don't really like doing a leg day the morning Tuesday, then going to work, 6 classes in a row with no break, a lunch break, then wake up the next day, 7 classes. I'm already pretty wiped out from the previous day's leg day, even though it's an easier one. Yeah, it's not working for me. I'd rather just have both those days totally off. I also have to put a high day on the Wednesday if I work out in the morning, because that means I have to eat before I work out, and then if I eat first in the morning, it tends to ramp up my appetite quite a bit. So I can take that high day away and just have like a training day diet, non-training day diet, and I can raise my carbs a bit on the training days, maybe like 500 or so, and then the carbs on the non-training days could go down like 350 or so. Keep the fats and the proteins the same, 250 fat, 250 protein, 250 fat, yeah, well, 250 protein, about 70, 80 fat. Kind of high on the fats, but I like it, and just easier for me to comply. That's counting the fats with all my chicken breasts and all the trace fats and the oats and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, if you're counting it, more Justin Harris style, it might be closer to like 55, 60. So yeah, that's all I got to say today. Looking forward to this again. I'll show you the first 2 meals, then we'll do another voiceover for the training, and then that'll be it. Hoping to get everything done by 2 o'clock today, and just be kind of chilling after that. See you later. Here we go, first meal, a little smaller than last time. We got 200 grams of chicken, 220 grams of potato raw weight, a little bit less there, 70 grams of hummus, and then we've got our 100 grams of raspberry, 35 strawberry, 6 grams of honey, and topped with artificial sweetener. That'll be meal 1. I love the oatmeal, cream of rice combination bowl, the high-calorie bowl after this, maybe 2 hours later, 3 hours later, and then we'll go train. All right, so another meal here. We've got 50 grams of cream of rice, 50 grams of oats, 220 milliliters of skim milk, a banana, didn't measure, about 15 grams of peanut butter, and then about 25 grams of dark chocolate chips. Okay, I'm going to take this down, then go to the gym, do my training. I'll see you guys with the voiceover. After that, I'm gonna bicycle over to another gym and just check it out. The one with the Panata stuff. I think they have a. Well, I'm not exactly sure what they have, but they have a what they call it, the pendulum squat. Pendulum squat, high row, and a few other things. So I'll have a look at that, then ride back home. Welcome back, everybody. Here we go. We got another leg day. This is my glute ham focused leg day, and this one was very hard today. I made a few mistakes with exercise order that made it much harder than it needed to be. And I ended up being there just over 90 minutes, which I generally don't like to do. Usually 75 minutes is about right for me. Maybe a little under 90 for this particular leg day, but like, yeah, I don't want to be in the gym too long. That generally means the work I'm doing later is just not very productive. Anyway, so I started off with these stiff-legged deadlifts. I'm going real slow, pausing the bottom, but I actually messed up and miscounted reps, and I got 9 here when I meant to do 10, which made it so that I needed to do 11 on the second set, and believe it or not, this felt actually very hard. I got a little carried away with my steps before the workout, so in the morning I go out to my school's track, and I just walk around at a pretty good fast pace, so it's like not quite steps, but not quite cardio either. It's like 105 heart rate or so, And I can go like very fast if I'm on a track instead of like walking around the neighborhood. So I ended up getting a lot more steps in than I kind of thought I would. I was around like 15,000 before I ever set foot in the gym. And I went to the gym pretty early, around 1 o'clock. So that set was brutal. And then the second set was even more brutal. But you can see very clearly I'm speeding up quite a bit compared to the first set, where the eccentrics, the negatives, were very, very slow. I don't think you need to train that way for every exercise, but I think for the stiff-legged deadlift, if you're finding it difficult to really engage hams and glutes, and there's a little bit too much lower back getting involved there, then going very slow like that is a good idea. And generally pausing just makes it much harder. I think, yeah, almost everybody should probably be pausing, just reducing injury risk, getting a lot more tension on the target muscles. I don't do this lift as a sort of touch and go. I think if you reset on the floor, that can be okay too, actually. I personally don't like to do that. I like to have constant tension, but I can see the rationale and effectiveness of lowering all the way to the floor with each rep. So I was just wiped out after that second set. That was hard. So then moved on to these lying hamstring curls. These always feel really good right after stiff-legged deadlifts. I, again, was just feeling kind of wrecked, so I went pretty light on these, 46 kilos for a set of 12 here. I've done 60 for a set of 12 very recently, but when I did that, I had to rest like super long time, and I had to lower the weight going into the second and the third set. So I figured, you know what, let's just go ahead and keep the weight a little lighter, make sure I'm getting all the tension on the target muscle, don't have to take insanely long rest times. There's this kind of mythology and romanticization, I suppose, about training to failure, and how, there's only effective reps happen when you're this close to failure, and anything else, and that is nonsense. It doesn't do anything. Yeah, that's bullshit. No, I'm sorry. You're still going to build muscle. There's still a strong hypertrophy signal, even when you're fairly far away from failure. And generally feeling it in the right muscle is more important. And sometimes when guys train to failure, particularly in that like 6 to 8 rep range, they end up targeting everything but the desired muscle, and they benefit from actually not going to failure and raising the reps up and really trying to feel it where they're trying to feel it. So here's where I made the very big mistake. Don't put leg extensions after hamstring curls before leg press. Especially doing them relatively high reps, I just gassed out here, and then when I went to the leg press, I just did not have any energy anymore, and I was panting like crazy and couldn't get my breath back. Now, if I had gone to the gym, let's say first thing in the morning, or hadn't gone a little overboard with the NEAT and the activity level before the gym, or maybe I'd waited to train later, I might have been able to tolerate this, but I don't want to train later, because if I train too late in the day on a leg day, it's very hard to sleep, and I get up to pee really often. I'm pretty old. You might not guess how old I actually am just based on looking at me, but if you're in my audience, I'm probably old enough to be your dad. Actually, I'm in the masters, right? I'm no longer a spring chicken, and so, when you get up there in age, you tend to have to pee at night a lot more, and that can be pretty disruptive to your sleep quality. It's gotten a lot better since I got my CPAP, which I've talked about in some other videos, just being an absolute game changer for me. That's another old guy thing, right? CPAPs. I didn't need that when I was like in my 20s, but well, here we are. Anyway, so I'm doing really high reps here, and that definitely contributed to this sort of cardiovascular fatigue. I think I got 20 or 21 here, and just the pump afterward, the pain immediately afterward, just right this frame, I was like, oh my God, this hurts so badly. But it was worth it. It felt great afterward. And oh boy, I'm being a real drama queen here. I thought I edited this out. No. That's okay. That's okay. So yeah, after these theatrics, I finally get up and I make on over the leg press. I actually took about a 10-minute rest before I even started warming up, and still, as I got into these work sets where I had to reduce my weight, I was just feeling wiped the fuck out, man. I was not handling it well. But nonetheless, I executed really well. I got really slow eccentrics, nice good pause in the bottom, a lot of tension on the glutes. You'll notice that in every leg press video, you're going to see me with a gray foam pad underneath my hips, underneath my lower back and upper back, and that helps me a lot with getting this exaggerated depth. Why do I do the exaggerated depth? I don't think this is helpful for quads really at all, but if you're trying to train glutes more, which I am, I think this exaggerated depth is actually very, very helpful. So if you're in the more normal situation of having relatively stronger glutes and relatively weaker quads, which I think is like the majority of bodybuilders, then don't do it this way. Go ahead and remove the pad, shorten the range of motion. You're pretty much already getting enough stress around the quads to activate them sufficiently, even without this extra range of motion. But for me, this works really well. And of course, if you have mobility issues, then this can be really good for you in terms of getting a full stretch on the quads. And so then lastly, I do this very girly looking standing abductor machine, but I think I should probably have a lordotic curve in my lower back when I'm doing this to more effectively recruit my glutes. I'm still new to this. It's my second time ever doing it. But yeah, I'm really trying to hold the contraction. This and hip thrust are very like contraction biased glute isolation lifts. Isolation, yeah, I guess sort of. And so holding at that contracted position at the top, where it's hardest, is generally good. And then the stiff-legged deadlift is the exact opposite. It's really much more stretched bias movement, so I hold and pause at the bottom. So after this, I was pretty exhausted, and my heart was beating real quick, and I went home, and I more or less stayed glued to the couch and ate my meals and played some Dragon Quest VII and relaxed. And I got up the next day and went to work and felt pretty okay, actually. So not too much damage done, but I have still, 2 days later, a lot of DOMs from this. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. I'm not doing another leg workout this week until Saturday. Getting on the new 40 per week schedule. All right, cool. See you for the next meals. Okay, we're here with the post-workout meal. We got some 300 grams-ish raw weight potato, 60 grams hummus, which I actually need to measure, 180 grams of chicken, and then a bunch of mixed berries, about 100 raspberry, 70 blueberry, 30 strawberry, artificial sweetener, and a little drizzle of honey that you can't quite see on there. So yeah, you're probably noticing a pattern. Today's leg workout was actually really hard, like surprisingly, the first time. I'm going to need to convert to upper-lower for my training split because it's just a little bit too much and just doesn't fit with my work schedule mostly. Alright guys, this is going to be the last meal of the day. I'm not going to do meal 5 today. My appetite is not very high. It's the Red Tuesday. Got 180 chicken, 220 potato, 60 hummus, 100 raspberry, 30 strawberry, little honey, and stevia. And then not pictured here is some sugar-free soda. So yeah, I'm just, again, not super hungry, and I'm auto-regulating this diet to some degree, which you can do when you have very limited food choices. Like, what did I eat today? 3 types of berries, potatoes, chicken breast, hummus, honey, black coffee in the morning, which I didn't film, oatmeal, cream of rice, banana, dark chocolate. That is not a ton of different foods. So for that reason, I'm able to be a little flexible with the amounts and go based on appetite to some degree. Alright, so it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm going to eat this, then go to bed probably before 9:30 and be ready for my new work week, which will be easier not doing the leg training this Wednesday.